felt like everybody just got along really well, and we were able to follow the tracks on the expectations that we have set before the meeting. I guess we have a good vision of the main concerns that are being raised around accountability and the ICANN transition.
I think trust is really at the core of many things within ICANN at this point. And we should not underestimate how trust is a matter of perception. And therefore, I mean, speaking about trust issues, probably not the right way to frame it, but there are perceptions outside of the community that ICANN might not be sufficiently mature to be trusted with the kind of responsibilities we're talking about after the INS stewardship transition. And what our group is doing is trying to build a system that is sufficiently reassuring for those outside people as well as the inside people to trust ICANN. And there's a famous sentence by a former US president saying, "Trust but verify," right? And we can't handle the trust because it's a matter of perception, but accountability is about the verify part. And we're trying to strengthen this in order for the perception from outsiders to change and ICANN to be empowered.
One important point to make there is that nobody in the room is an expert in California non-for-profit law. So the request for creating new entities or new bodies are in part speculation about how we could operationalize, which is why we as co-chairs chose to guide the discussion in a different fashion, i.e. to ask the group what their requirements are. What powers must this mechanism, not to say body or legal entity, have in order to achieve the accountability goals that the group needs to see either operationalized or committed to. And finding the appropriate legal format for that is something that we expect the legal experts to respond to us. So we would not jump to a specific implementation. The implementation should be a result of the demands by the community. And we shouldn't take the second step before we answered the first question. But I think what's important is to highlight that I think there was a strong consensus in the group that we would not want to build another mechanism that would be an extra board. It was more focused on strengthening the bottom-up process, strengthening the community, and only having a mechanism in place as type of a last resort mechanism in case everything else fails.
I don't see a lack of trust on staff or the board. I mean, one of the things that I'm very pleased to have observed during the meeting is that we all care about ICANN. We are willing to trust the mechanisms that we already have, and we recognize at the same time that there are things that need to be improved.
It can't be ignored that parts of the community have been dissatisfied with certain actions by the board or inactions of the board. Nonetheless, the work that we're doing inside the CCWG also deals with trust. There are some who mistake us working on possibilities to dismiss board members as evidence of us not trusting the board, which I think is not the case for at least the vast majority of the members or participants of this group. But we are tasked with, it's in our charter, to look at contingencies, such as capture of the board not behaving appropriately, and thereby endangering what ICANN is supposed to do. So we are looking at certain issues at an abstract level. We have to look at contingencies and stress test whether contingencies are going to be effectively excluded or countered by accountability mechanisms. So we need to talk about trust or future issues with that, but that's certainly not to be mistaken as any sort of signal or evidence for mistrust in the current composition of the ICANN board.